We're going to go ahead and get started. So if you are in a chair for this, that is perfectly fine. I'm going to be demonstrating most of this flow from the floor today instead of a chair. Go ahead and take a comfortable seated position and go ahead and stick a pillow or a block underneath your sit bones or your hips. We're going to begin by tuning into our breath. So go ahead and take one hand to your chest and one hand to your belly. And you can either close or lightly close your eyes or just lower your gaze to the floor. We're going to begin by just observing our natural breath rhythm without trying to change it, without judgment. Go ahead and notice if you're breathing deeply or shallowly. If your breath comes easy or it feels more strained. If you're breathing fast or slow. Noticing if you're breathing more into your chest or your belly. Go ahead and take a breath in. Open your mouth and let it out. Get another breath in. Sigh it out. Today we're going to learn the three-part breath, or also known as the yogi's breath. Keeping your hands on your chest and your belly. You're going to inhale first into your belly. So feel your belly move your hand. And then you're going to focus on inhaling. So belly, ribs, and then chest. So it's a full breath and a full exhale. And when you exhale, you're going to exhale out the chest, then the ribs, then the low belly. So inhaling belly, ribs, chest, exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. Inhaling belly, ribs, chest, exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. We're going to go ahead and do this for 10 breaths. So in, belly, 2, exhale, 3, 4, 5, 6, 'In the belly, out the chest, One more breath. Great job. You can go ahead and remove whatever you're sitting on. And we're going to start by warming up our joints. So sitting with your feet out in front of you, or if you're in a chair, we're just going to do some ankle mobility. So go ahead and point your toes and then flex your toes. We're going to do this 6 times. Still breathing our yogic breath that we just learned. And if it's too overwhelming to think about, just focus on taking full breaths into your belly. Okay. Now we're going to rotate our feet so that our soles almost touch. And as we do our yoga today, really listening to our body and how we feel, respecting our limits, not pushing past pain. Nothing about yoga should feel painful. So if you experience any discomfort that you can't breathe through, just go ahead and back out of whatever pose you're doing. Okay, rotate your ankles or your feet. Switch directions. Okay. Go ahead and take your hands behind your knee, straighten your leg, and then bend, hug that knee in. Straighten the leg, hug it in. This warms up the knee joint. Still breathing into our bellies. Go ahead and switch sides now. Today's class is going to be all about loving kindness. So I have some exercises here throughout class to foster a sense of that, not only for others, but ourselves as well. Do one more, hug it in. All right. Next, we're going to swing our leg out. So turning your leg out, you're just going to drag, turn your foot in, drag it back. Turn out, take it out, turn in. You're going to do this a few times. This warms up the hip. Let's do the other side. So turn your foot out. A lot of stuff booby trapping me over here. Thank you for joining me on this early Saturday morning to work on your mind and body. All right. Swing your legs out behind you. Hands and knees to the mat. Wrists are underneath your shoulders and knees are underneath your hips. You're gonna go ahead. This is a cat-cow. And you're gonna drop your belly to the floor And just look up, allowing your hips to come. And then for cat, you're gonna round your back, pushing your back to the ceiling for cat. So you're gonna inhale, head up, drop the belly, cow, exhale, round the back for cat. And go at the flow of your own breath. Exhaling for cat, rounded back. Inhaling for cow. Always losing these AirPods. Okay, go ahead and come back to a neutral spine. So in between cat and cow somewhere. And you're going to kick your left leg out behind you. And then you're going to bring your knee to your head. Straighten out, inhale, exhale, knee to chin. Inhale, straighten the leg out. Inhale, knee to chin. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck. Lengthen. Exhale, tuck. Go ahead and switch sides now. So taking the right leg out. Where did that earbud go? Inhaling to extend, exhaling to tuck. Okay, go ahead and come back to neutral spine, tabletop. You're going to take your knees and your legs together. Just go ahead and tilt your hips to the side, come back to center, and then tilt your hips to the other side. Inhaling to center, exhaling to tilt. This is a good warm up for the hips and the spine. Okay, go back and sit on your heels. Hands out in front of you. This is a wrist exercise. So starting with small movements and working our way towards bigger movements. Bring your fingers down and then up. Focusing on our belly, breathing. Go ahead and bend your elbows. And you're going to turn your fingers in and out. Close your fingers to make fists. Rotate your wrists. Warming up the wrist joint. Switch directions. Still breathing into our bellies. Okay, arms out. I'm going to turn to the side so that you can get a better angle. You're going to go ahead and bend your elbows and touch your shoulders. Extend your arms. Touch your shoulders. So the breath is inhale to extend, exhale to touch the shoulders. Okay, so still touching our shoulders, your arms are going to come out to your sides. And then keeping your bicep parallel with the floor, we're going to exhale our elbows to touch, inhale to open. Not passing our comfortable, pain-free range of motion. If you can't get your elbows to touch, that's perfectly okay. Okay, arms out like a football. I don't know what you call that thing. It's like the touchdown zone. And then I'm going to turn to my side so you can see. So on an exhale, you're going to drop your hands. And my range of motion is not very good for this one, but you're going to just push your hands out behind you. Inhaling them back up. In yoga, this arm position is called Cactus Arms. We're going to be doing a lot of Cactus Arms today for our posture. I've noticed in myself and my family during this time where we're spending a lot of time at home and on technology, our postures have just gone kind of downhill. So today's flow is all about opening our chest and supporting our muscles that are responsible for our posture. Go ahead and take your arms down at your sides. We're going to inhale our arms up and then exhale, take them behind us. Inhale them up, exhale. Okay, go ahead and untuck your legs. Hands are going to go to your knees. So on an inhale, you're going to arch your back and squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then on an exhale, you're going to kind of allow yourself to round your back so that your shoulder blades can have some space in between them. So inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, stretch the shoulder blades apart. And you can do this at your own breath pace. I'm moving a lot quicker through this series than I did last time, just for the sake of time. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Come back to neutral. I'm going to turn to face you. So on an inhale, you're going to focus on lengthening your spine long, and then you're going to exhale for a side bend. Inhale, long, exhale, side. Long, get long. And as always, the purpose of yoga is union with the present moment, which we can accomplish by staying attentive to our breath. So anytime you've lost your focus on your breath, just non-judgmentally come back to your breath. Okay. Inhale tall. You're going to go ahead and exhale, twist behind you. Inhale to come back. Exhale the other side. Inhale back. Exhale, twist. Making sure to elongate your spine when you come back into the twist, since this flow is all about our posture. Okay. Next, we're going to do our last three, and it's going to focus on the neck. I'm going to turn to my side again so you can see. So you're going to inhale your chin to the ceiling. Exhale, your chin goes towards or touches your chest. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chin, chest. Okay. Spine is long. You're going to go ahead and drop your ear to your shoulder. Come back up, lengthen the neck. Exhale, dropping your ear to your other shoulder. Focusing on our belly breathing. Warming up the neck. Okay. Spine is long. Go ahead and just turn your head side to side. Still breathing. Okay, and that's the end of our warm-up. So let's get to our yoga flow, shall we? Go ahead and come onto your knees again so that you're sitting on your legs. We're going to start off with a little bit of seated cat-cow. So interlace your fingers together. You're going to inhale them up. Gaze follows your hands, arching your back. And then exhaling, rounding your spine, looking down, exhaling, inhale. Gaze up, arms up, arch your back. Exhale it. So cat is when you're rounding your back, and cow is when you're arching your back. So this is cat, and this is cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Great job. Come back onto your hands and your knees. So for cow, oops, keep losing these dang ear pods. I'm gonna have to tape them into my ear one of these days. Okay, so you're in cow. So you're arching your back, looking up towards the ceiling, belly to your mat. And then you're going to push back into child's pose. So just taking your chest to your knees or your mat. You're going to come back up into cow again. And then exhaling into child's pose. And we're just going to keep moving with the breath. So inhaling for cow. Exhaling for child's pose. Inhaling cow. Exhaling child's. Inhaling cow. One more child's pose. And then carefully at your own time, we're going to go ahead and stand up. I'm going to adjust the camera so you can see me. So this would not be a posture class if I didn't teach you the correct posture. So go ahead and stand with your feet hip distance apart. And you're going to tip your spine so that your spine is straight. Go ahead and lengthen your spine tall. Shoulders come back so that your chest is open and your chin is slightly lifted. Go ahead and inhale your arms up. Bring your hands together for prayer in front of your chest. Gaze is forward. Let's just take 3 in and out breaths here. From here, we're going to do some sun salutations. So go ahead and inhale your arms to the sky. And exhale, drop your arms, bend your knees, fold over at your hips so that you can touch the floor. Go ahead and swing your arms back up, inhaling your hands back to the sky. Exhale, hands to the floor, fold. Making sure to bend the knees a good amount. Inhaling up, exhaling down. So staying low, staying in your forward bend, bending your knees as much as you need to. If you feel a stretch behind your legs, that's great. If not, go ahead and just work towards straightening your legs. Me personally, I don't even have to straighten my legs to feel a stretch here. So for this next one, you're going to, depending on your strength in a push-up, you're either going to find a wall to do this up against, or you're going to find a chair. You're going to go ahead and just put your hands on the seat of the chair. Or I'm going to demonstrate what this looks like from the floor. So if you're on the floor, I highly encourage you to do this on your knees. But you're going to come on to a plank position. So hands underneath your shoulders, fingers are spread wide. I'm going to do this on your knees, or I'm going to do this on my knees. I highly suggest if you're on the floor to do this on your knees. Go ahead and exhale down to the floor. Inhale back up. Go ahead and plant your toes on your mat and send your hips back for a downward dog. Keeping your knees bent, externally rotating your arms. So we're going to do this. So inhaling to a plank position, exhaling, pushing back into a down dog, sending your hips behind you. Inhaling to plank, and you could do this on your knees. Exhaling, lift your knees, send your hips back for down dog. Inhaling, drop your knees for a plank. Exhaling for down dog. And we're going to do this a few more times. If you get tired, feel free to rest. I hope you can't hear it when my AirPod falls out and lands on the floor. I apologize if you can hear that. Exhaling to down dog. Inhaling for plank. And go ahead and come back into a child's pose. Take a few breaths. Child's. Go ahead and come out onto your belly. Legs are on the floor. You're going to bend your elbows so that your elbows are just underneath your shoulders. And your arms, your forearms, should be parallel, like railroad tracks. And just go ahead and relax your abdomen and look up towards the ceiling. Just focusing on really opening up our chest and our abdomen. Continuing to breathe. We're going to be here for several breaths. This pose is called Sphinx pose. And it's used to strengthen the back and open up the chest, which is the opposite of slouching. So if you find yourself slouching a lot throughout the day, you can go ahead and do this to break up all that slouching. Go ahead and come back into a child's pose, but this time with your knees apart. So knees apart, feet together. chest to floor. You can rest your forehead on the floor. If you're in a chair today, just trying to copy whatever position we're doing with our back. So either a cat or a cow, but in your seat. Okay, come back onto your belly. Go ahead and rest your forehead on the floor and your arms at your sides. So for Locust Pose, we're going to practice first by just doing our lower body. So our upper body and hips will stay on the mat. On an inhale, you're going to engage your legs and lift them off of your mat. So using your butt and zippering your legs together, your entire legs should be engaged, squeezing toward each other and up off your mat. Still breathing. And relax everything back to your mat. So now we're going to practice half locust, but with our upper body. So this time, your lower body, your legs and your hips will stay on your mat. This time we're going to, when we inhale, we're going to engage our arms and our back and our neck to keep our head neutral. And we're going to lift on an inhale, everything off the floor except for our hips and our legs. So ready? Inhale, lift. Squeezing those arms, breathing. You can rest whenever you need to. Go ahead and lower down, resting your forehead on your mat. Great job. So that was half locust. For full locust, when we inhale, we lift everything except for our hips off of our mat. So really focusing on engaging our legs, pulling them together, and then also engaging our arms. All right, ready? Go ahead and zipper those legs together. Inhale, everything comes off of your mat for Locust Pose. Everything is squeezing. And relax to your mat. Whew, that's always a good one to build heat. I'm gonna take a few breaths to rest. And then we're gonna try that one more time. Since the first pose can always feel kind of funny. All right, get ready. Zipper your legs together. Inhale, squeeze, lift off your mat. Really lift those arms, squeeze them at your sides. so that your arms are turned on. Your glutes should be squeezing. And relax everything towards your mat again. We're gonna, this time with our knees together, come back into child's pose again. Knees together. Taking deep belly breaths, allowing our belly to fill up before we allow our ribs and our chest to expand. Exhaling fully. Go ahead and come back up onto tabletop position. So your hands and your knees. Your knees are underneath your hips, wrists underneath your shoulders, fingers are spread wide. So this time we're going to do tiger pose. So go ahead and lift your leg out behind you, sort of like in our warm-up. And then from here, you're going to lift your opposite, your right hand forward and have your palm face the middle of your mat. So your thumb should be facing the ceiling. Just go ahead and breathe here, focusing on elongating your arm and your leg, your spine, almost imagining someone pulling your foot and someone else pulling your hand away from you. Breathing. All right, go ahead and relax your arm and your leg back down to your mat, tabletop. Go ahead and kick your right leg out behind you. And once you have your balance and you feel strong in your core, go ahead and lift your arm, your left arm out so that your thumb is pointed towards the ceiling. The palm of your hand is facing the middle of your mat. Breathing here, imagining someone pulling your arm and your leg in opposite directions to get that length. Go ahead and bring your knee to your elbow and then set your knee and your hands down on the floor. And we're going to kick our legs out in front of us. And we're going to lay down on our back, hug knees to chest. Give yourself a big hug here. You can even rock side to side to massage your lower back. This pose is called Aponasana, or wind relieving pose. They call it wind relieving pose because it's really good for gas. So if you need to let go of anything here, feel free to let go of anything that doesn't serve you. Massaging that lower back. Okay, now you're going to lay flat on your back and go ahead and grab a block or a book or a pillow whatever it is you have laying around here. And you're going to take it in between your hands. Just go ahead and lengthen your arms and your legs long. Now that you have this block, on an exhale, we're going to lift our feet and our arms together so that we can place the block in between our feet. And then you're going to inhale it down flat. Okay? Now exhale, switch the block to your hands. Inhale, exhale, switch. And we're just going to keep passing the block in between our hands and our legs, focusing on keeping our abs super strong to protect our lower back. So inhaling down, exhaling, hands to feet. And this will get you tired really quickly. So if you feel like you can't engage your core safely anymore, just go ahead and relax and rest. Just work on breathing. Woo-wee. Probably will feel that later. A strong core is essential for a good posture. That's why I put that fun one in there. Okay, so go ahead and come onto your feet into kind of a squatting position. So for this, I want your ankles to touch the floor. So whatever you need to do with your foot positioning so that your ankles can be flat on the floor. If you want more support, you can go ahead and place a block underneath your sit bones for a little bit of extra support. But we're just going to go ahead and put our elbows on the insides of our thighs. Hands come into a prayer position. And this is the pose. Just focusing on lengthening our inner thigh muscles. If you want more, you can go ahead and get rid of the block. And you're just here squatting. This is called Goddess Pose, as it is the pose that brings life into this world. You can go ahead and rock kind of back and forth if that feels good to you, or you can just stay here. And from here, go ahead and just put your hands on the ground and straighten your legs, moving your feet so that your toes are pointed forward, keeping a bend in your knees. Go ahead and toe heel your feet a little bit wider apart for a wide forward fold. And if you have a strap here, you might want to grab it. If not, you can interlace your fingers behind you, but I like using a strap because my shoulder's been bothering me. So for this, I'm going to demonstrate it from the side so that you can see what I'm doing. But your feet are wide, bending your knees a little bit. You're going to bend at your hips with your hands either interlaced behind you or holding the strap, taking your hands up towards the ceiling, opening your chest, making sure to bend those knees to get a stretch. You should be feeling the stretch in the belly of the muscles behind your legs, not behind your knee. So if you're feeling a stretch behind your knee, please bend your knees more. And just go ahead and take deep breaths here. Really focusing on fully exhaling all of your breath out before you take an inhale. And from here, you can kind of twist over to look behind your legs for kind of a moving stretch. All right, go ahead and relax your hands down. Toe heel your feet so that they're about hip distance apart. And go ahead and slowly, one vertebra by vertebra, or disc in your back, you're just going to roll up into your mountain pose. So tucking your tail, opening your chest, your chin lifts a little bit, shoulders are pulled back. It's a really good posture here. So we're going to do tree pose. So to set up for that, you're going to lean your weight onto your left leg. And there's a few options here. You could feel free to do this next to a piece of furniture that you can hold on to if you need extra balance support, or maybe a wall. But we're going to start off by lifting our heel so that it's not touching the floor. And if that feels super stable to you, you can lift your toes off the floor as well. You can go ahead and plant your foot on your calf, or you could take it all the way up against your thigh, but I do not want you placing your foot on your knee. That's a great way to injure your knee. So keep your foot away from your knee, whichever position you choose. So now we're here with your arms. I'm going to adjust this so you can see me. So we're here. Your arms are going to lift up and then come back into our cactus arms again. And when our arms are in cactus, I want you to focus on squeezing your shoulder blades together and opening up your front chest. And if you can still balance, go ahead and look up towards the ceiling. I'm going to read you this story from Ram Dass. Don't worry, I'll have you switch soon. I think that part of less self-judgment is observing oneself more impersonally. I often use this image. When you go into the woods and you look at trees, you see all these different trees. And some of them are bent, some of them are straight, and some of them are evergreens, some of them are whatever. And you look at the tree and you just allow it. You appreciate it. You see why it is the way it is. You sort of understand that it didn't get enough light, and so it turned that way, and you don't get all emotional about it. You just allow it. You appreciate that tree. Go ahead and bring your foot back down. Shake out your legs and your arms a little bit. Lean your weight onto your right foot and go ahead and lift your left foot into your tree. Coming back into cactus arms, or if cactus arms is too much, you can go ahead and just prayer position your hands in front of your chest, but focusing on opening up. So the minute you get near humans, you lose all that. And you're constantly saying, you're to this, or I'm to this. That judging mind comes in. And so I practice turning people into trees, which means appreciating them just the way they are. The practice of turning people into trees is a chance for you to practice opening your heart and to appreciate the predicament you or someone is in. You begin to appreciate uniqueness without it being better or worse, because it's just different. Cultivating an appreciation of uniqueness rather than preference is very beneficial. Next time you're in line or people watching, I invite you to practice turning people into trees. Go ahead and bring your leg back down, shake out your limbs, shake out those tree limbs. Okay, so bending your knees, gonna just hinge forward at the waist, fold down, touch the floor. Breathing. And from here, you're gonna go ahead and just drop your hips to sit on your mat or the floor or your chair, wherever you are today. Go ahead and take that block that you had earlier. Let me adjust this camera so you can see. There we go. So you're gonna lay back on your mat. With your feet on your mat, knees bent. Place the block that you have, or pillow, whatever you were using, and place it in between your lower, just below your knees. And you're going to squeeze your legs together to keep the block from falling. You might want to scoot your heels closer to your glutes. So from here, on an exhale, you're going to squeeze your glutes and lift your hips. And once your hips are lifted, you could go ahead and interlace your fingers underneath your glutes so that your chest and your shoulders can really open up. And we're just here breathing. Our glutes are engaged. You're squeezing that block. Breathing. This is called bridge pose, for those of you who are wondering. Go ahead and release your hands and allow the block to drop. You can take your feet out a little bit to the side so that your knees can lay up against each other. Allowing our glutes to relax. Our abdominals are relaxed. Go ahead and grab that block again. Place it back in between your upper thighs or your lower thighs, depending on which way you're thinking about it. Scoot those heels back towards your glutes. Go ahead and engage your glutes, flattening your lower back against your mat, and lift your hips towards the ceiling. Interlacing your fingers to open up that chest again. Squeezing our block. Squeezing our glutes and breathing. Squeezing that block, squeezing the glutes, and release it back down. Don't get too comfortable. We're going to practice bridge one more time after we allow our glutes to relax for a little bit. Breathing. This is really our last active pose for the day. So let's go ahead and finish this last bridge out really strong because we are almost done. So go ahead and put that block back in between your legs. Go ahead and retuck your back so that your lower back is flat up against your mat. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze your thighs, lift your hips to the ceiling, interlace your fingers again below your backside so that you can really open up that chest, squeezing your glutes, squeezing that block, and just breathing. This is our last big pose of the day. Give it all you got. And relax, let the blocks fall. From here, go ahead and sit back up and bring your feet together. Hips fall open so that you're in this kind of butterfly position. And at first, we're going to kind of butterfly our legs up and down. Breathing into these stretches that are to come. Go ahead and stop flapping your wings and kind of round over so that you can deepen that stretch. You should be feeling the stretch in your groin or your inner thigh muscles. Focusing on taking deep breaths out, exhaling all that air, not leaving any air left in our lungs. Inhaling into our bellies. Taking the stretch a little bit deeper if it calls to you. Not passing our comfortable range of motion. If you feel the stretch, then don't continue pushing it. I'm going to stay here for 3 more breaths. All right, great job. Go ahead and release your legs out, kind of wiggle or shake your legs out. Get a sip of water or whatever you have to drink. Getting a sip of that coffee or tea that you poured yourself. And when you're ready, go ahead and find that strap or belt or rolled up blanket or towel, whatever you're using. And we'll give you a moment to go and find something. For those of you using a towel, you just fold up a blanket or a towel so that it's long like this to act as your strap. Hopefully you have it now. So your legs are still kind of bent in a butterfly. You're just going to take your leg over the other, whichever side, doesn't matter, we're going to do both. Taking your strap, and I'm going to turn around actually so that you can better see what I'm doing with my arms. So go ahead and take that strap behind you, and with one hand you're going to hold on to the strap, and then with your other arm you're going to go ahead and clasp the strap with your elbow up, and you're going to go ahead and just wiggle your hands closer together until you feel a stretch. And if the stretch is kind of intense, go ahead and back out of it a little bit by creating more space in between your hands. You should be feeling this stretch in two different places, at least. The front of your lower shoulder, and then in your arm that's above your head. You should be feeling it behind your upper arm. And then if your legs, if you chose to bind up your legs too, you should be feeling it in your hips. Breathing here. Focusing on fully letting out our exhales, not leaving any air left, fully emptying out the stagnant air that sits at the bottom of your lungs. Go ahead and release the strap. Kind of loosen up your arms. Take your feet out. Kind of wiggle your feet out, your legs, excuse me. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. So whatever foot that you had underneath the other one, we're just going to switch sides. And don't be surprised if one side feels a lot different than the other one. That's totally normal. I'm going to face you this time, but go ahead and switch so that your arms are opposite of whatever you did last time. Go ahead and find that optimal hand positioning with your strap. And we're here and we're breathing. It's really easy to push yourself too hard in this position. So if you start to feel in your shoulder like this is intense, please relax the grip on your hands, separate your hands a little bit on the strap. So we only have 2 more poses left, I promise. You're doing so great. Part of self-love is doing things that we might not want to do, like exercise or eat healthy in the moment, knowing that it's to our benefit in the long run. So it's a great first step in showing yourself self-love by showing up here today. Go ahead and release that strap. Gonna wiggle out your arms. Release your legs, wiggle those legs out. So We're going to lay back onto our back, feet up in the air. We're going to take our right ankle and rest it just below your left knee or in front of your knee. Go ahead and reach around your leg and pull it in. And the foot that's on, or the ankle that's on your knee, go ahead and flex that foot to protect your knee. This is especially important if you have bad knees. Go ahead and pull your legs toward you. You should be feeling the stretch now on your glute, maybe your outer thigh. I'm going to take 4 full breaths here. You can release your head and your upper back to the mat if you're flexible enough. If it doesn't feel good, then you can stay tucked like this. Go ahead and release your legs out in front of you. Wiggle them out. Bend your knees. Time placing your left ankle on your right leg, pulling your legs close. Flexing the ankle that's on your knee to protect your knee, your other knee. You can lean back if the stretch allows it. And we're going to take 4 big breaths in this position. One more. Go ahead and release your legs. Wiggle them out. Go ahead and take your knees to your chest for Aponasana again. Take it side to side. Just kind of massage that low back. This time with your knees up, you're going to drop your knees to the right. From here, you're going to take your left arm out and look toward your left hand. This is a great twist for kind of wringing tension out of your body, sort of like wringing out a wet towel. If the stretch is kind of too intense on your arm or your shoulder or your chest, you can go ahead and prop a pillow underneath that extended left arm. We're going to be here for 6 breaths this time. You can kind of close your eyes or lower your gaze if you want. If you've gotten distracted, coming back to counting your breath. Go ahead and bend that left arm, bring it back. Hold your knees. Use your arms to help you bring your knees back to center. Hugging your knees to chest. Taking our knees out to the left side, resting them on the floor. Your right arm now comes out to the right. And go ahead and turn your head to the right to look at your arm. If that feels comfortable. You're going to be on this side for 6 breaths as well. Really focusing on practicing our yogi breath, that 3-part breath that I taught you in the beginning of class. So inhaling first into the belly, then the ribs, then the chest, and then exhaling out the chest, the ribs, and then the belly. Our breath is the key to slowing down our mind and relaxing. Yoga is not about self-improvement. I know, crazy, right? Yoga is actually all about learning self-acceptance, learning to hold ourselves with just as much compassion as we hold others. If your arm has started to go numb, go ahead and place a pillow underneath it, or go ahead and just bring your arm back in. My fingers personally started tingling, so took my arm out of this stretch. Go ahead and lift your knees so that they're back over the center of you. Aponasana, knees to chest. And for Shavasana today, I want you to go ahead and round up some pillows and blankets. The pillows are going to go underneath your knees so that your knees can be comfortably bent. If you have a scarf or an eye pillow or something kind of heavy and soft that you can place over your eyes for this, that would be great. And if you have a blanket, you might get a little bit cold in this pose now that we're slowing down and not moving as much. So you can go ahead and drape a blanket over you. And it's best for your back to lay without a pillow, to lay totally flat. But if that's way too uncomfortable for you, then please use a pillow underneath your head. The whole purpose of this pose is to totally relax. So whatever you need to do to get yourself comfortable, you can even place pillows underneath your arms that are extended if you want. Closing your eyes. feeling the weight of your body sink into the floor. May I be at ease in my body, feeling the ground beneath my feet and feet. May I be attentive and gentle toward my own discomfort and suffering. May I be attentive and grateful for my own joy and well-being. May I move towards others freely and with openness. May I receive others with empathy and understanding. May I show compassion towards others and myself. May I light the way for myself and others. Gently place a hand over your heart space. And we're going to do a very short meditation. Just begin by recalling an experience where you felt profound love. Focus on the physical sensations that arise when you feel that love. Maybe it feels like warmth and joy, tenderness. Allow the story of the experience to fall away so that you are focused on just the feeling of that love. Picture a warm glow of light at the center of your heart space. With each breath, allow this loving presence to expand until it's completely all over your body. Picture being surrounded by this loving light. In your mind's eye, visualize placing your loving hand on the heart space of someone that you care about, infusing them too with this loving light. Loka samasta sukhinu bhavantu. May all beings be happy. May all beings know peace. May all beings be safe from harm. May all beings be free. In your own time, go ahead and roll to one side. And when you're ready, sitting up. Maybe crossing your legs. Bring your hands to your heart. As you go about your day, please hold yourself with as much loving tenderness that you would hold a young child or a puppy with. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you have a great day. Let's Om out. So inhale for Om. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day.